For me, I worry about him all the time. And so, especially when he goes into hospital, I worry about will he come out? How's he going to cope? And then I always find it that he can't do anything at all. So I've got to be hands-on all the time, really. So it's hard for me. And when you're getting a bit older, it doesn't get easier.
I was diagnosed in my 40s with COPD. So I've been a long time. I'm in my 70s now, 73. So I've had COPD for a long time.
Do you know what caused it?
Smoking, yeah. Can't really give any other excuse. I'm alpha-1 antitrypsin deficient as well, which obviously makes you more susceptible to lung disease. It's a strange feeling living with COPD. I think fear is one of the greatest things, which people don't really seem to, they concentrate on how it physically is, but you're constantly worried about things. You know, I'm worried that if I come downstairs, will I be able to get back upstairs? If I go out anywhere, will I run out of oxygen? If we decide to go away overnight, will I get there? And when I get there, will I be all right and be able to enjoy myself? So it constantly being fearful. That's the most challenging part of it. Coping with the physical effects. I suppose you learn to find ways of coping. Being on oxygen now is the latest thing. That's since the turn of this year I've been on constant oxygen, and it has helped. But of course it restricts you as to how far away from your oxygen supply you can go and what you can do. My admission to hospital is usually caused by an exacerbation of my COPD, and it is at such a stage that the best line of treatment is to get into hospital. So it's usually by ambulance, either at my own request or at the request of the GP or the respiratory care team, and I'm taken into hospital. You always think when you're taken into hospital, I'm going in, am I coming out? You always are worried that this is the final visit, that you're actually not going to recover, you're not going to get well enough to get back out of hospital. It's the greatest fear.
You worry because you're worrying, is he going to come out, is he going to be worse? And that's very hard.
Everything about it is not nice. I mean, the toilets aren't nice, you can never sleep properly, there's noises going on at night, you're woken up, you might have just managed to get to sleep and you're woken up because the nurse wants to take your readings, your saturation and so on. So you're woken up for that and you have to get back to sleep again. You're worried about the sort of information that you're going to get. You very often don't really get information as you should do as to how you're progressing. You ask the nurse and the nurse says, well, you have to ask the doctor. But the doctor never comes. So it's no fun, and it is not the sort of place to be unless you're a pushy person and you don't like to be labelled as a pushy person. But if you're going to find out anything, you have to keep pushing and asking, and that's very hard to do when you're feeling so poorly. I've never really had a treatment plan coming out of hospital. The most information that you tend to get is your discharge letter, which has very little information really about how you're going to progress in managing your disease. So there is really very little of a treatment plan put forward. You get very little in writing to say what's the next step and what's going to happen, who's going to give you that next step.
Nobody's ever asked me about John's treatment plan, so I don't know. It's normally he might tell me after, but I don't know. The nurses will talk to me on the way out when I ask them things, but I really don't know what the plan is. He knows more of his own medicine, thank goodness, because he's quite good with managing his own medicine.
You'll find on your discharge letter that one of your medicines has been stopped, but it won't explain why it's been stopped, just that you're no longer taking it. And if it's a blood pressure tablet that's been stopped, you wonder why. Well, is my blood pressure now so good I don't need the tablet? Nobody's explained that to you. It's just left as, well, you're no longer on that tablet.
Well, when he comes out of hospital, obviously, I like to know the nurses are keeping an eye on him. I like to know that he's getting home care, because I think that's important, because it's frightening for me, because I can't handle it if he takes a bad spell of breathing or something. So it's nice to know that we've got home care, which I think you need after.
It would be nice if you had a pack that told you who'd treated you, what was the outcome, whether you need to have further x-rays on what date, so that you have a proper written pack. And you can give that as well to whoever's acting as your carer, because they can then understand what it is that's going to happen, and they can be there as a support.
What I think would be really good would be, when he comes out of hospital, that I get a treatment pack, that I know what's happening, instead of me going to have to ask him all the time, that I can get more involved then. So yes, I think a treatment pack coming out to me would be helpful to the other person.
I don't think people really do have any clear and concise discharge information. I think all they get really is discharge letter and maybe a list of medications, and that's it.
At the moment, I rely totally on John to know what's happening, where I would like the information directly to me as well, so I don't have to keep asking him questions, because I have to keep asking, well, when do you take this, and what do you want me to do, and things like that. So it would be nice if I had the information, that I didn't have to keep asking questions all the time. So yes, I'd like more information.